This champion's belt is about to be your favorite accessory because of how hard you worked to get it. Welcome back to Gatabud. This is my Sit Up Minigame video. I've been working on my Corel video and the scope has just gotten way too big because there's way too much to talk about here, and this really deserves its own video for a lot of reasons. This minigame is extremely difficult. It is required for a platinum trophy, and it is an all-around accessibility nightmare for anyone who is having to overcome anything in their life to play games. In all likelihood, you're probably about to basically be living inside this gym for a little while, so let's try to make it a little less painful for you. We need to talk about Bodybuilders in a bind. You go to the tip board, and Jules will bring you to this area in the Costa del Sol area, the training gym. There are 4 groups of fiends surrounding the gym. There's one like right here, and then the other 3 are on this road surrounding the gym area. That's easy, no big deal. Then you return and you get challenged to a sit-up contest by somebody who is inspired by Tifa's actions in Remake. You're going to want to do this one thing first to make things easier on you though. Go to System, Options, Gameplay, go down to Trigger Effect Function. It'll default to 3. You want it on 0. One thing I also considered trying was hooking up a keyboard and doing it with 4 buttons that were very close together. This game just does not play with a keyboard. Some do, some don't. This is not one of them, unfortunately. I actually tried to remap the L and R buttons to match on the screen on the regular 4 buttons, because in Remake what I did was I just would do this with my index finger, and that's what worked for me. But unfortunately, it doesn't work here. The first button press will succeed. I double triple check the mappings. The second one just won't succeed. I think it has to do with the actual L and R functionality for like slightly pressed, and that includes on L1 and R1. So it just wasn't meant to be. There's not really anything we can do other than that to make it easier. Accessibility is really important to me as a video creator. I recognize that some people are dealing with different circumstances and still want to be able to play games at a high level or get their platinum trophy, what have you. And it really bothers me how limited I was to try to play with this minigame as far as what I could do to help with that. Now, the one thing I don't know about is I don't have one of these controllers right here. It looks like a really nice product. This is the official PlayStation accessibility controller that is customizable. I have a concern. This is why I bring it up. When I did my testing of flipping the buttons around on the DualSense controller, I got a sense that this game may be coded in this mini game to look for and require the pressure sensors on the L and R buttons to work. I don't know if that same functionality is in this controller. So if you're using this, please comment below and let me know. And if the game is indeed not allowing this, I think it's something that Square Enix should really take a hard look at and try to remedy. If there's something I didn't think of that you figured out that can make this easier for people, please comment below. I did hear that some people had success with turning off the music volume or disabling the rumble feature on their controller. Personally, I like the rumble feature. I find it essential, but to each their own. So comment below. Let's get into the actual minigame. I just did the pull-up minigame in Remake like a couple days before this game came out, preparing for the release. You would think that after doing that so recently that I wouldn't have had a problem with this minigame, but no. When there is a yellow circle, you need to quickly tap R2 or L2 as fast as possible. For me personally, holding the controller in a traditional manner doesn't work so well, so I actually let go with my right hand and I press using my arm to move my hand, and that gives me a much faster button mash time. You need to experiment and figure out which way you perform best while still getting your hand back in position to continue normal button presses. Secondly, the thing that I struggled with most here was trying to press buttons too quickly. Wait for the rumble feature to give you a hint when it's time to press the next button. Let it come to you. Don't try to do it too quickly. If you're patient, you will get past this first one pretty easily. So you've completed the quest. The quest is complete. However, the real minigame is now unlocked, and it's required for the platinum trophy. So if you want the platinum, you got to do this. You're not doing yourself any favors by procrastinating it. So you have to challenge these two guys each, one first and then the next one. The first of the guys is going to introduce a new mechanic that's going to stick with you for the remainder of this minigame. Sometimes the circle will be green instead of yellow. You need to pay attention for this. You need to hold kind of a half press on L2 or R2, depending on which one it is. And then when the circle is done filling up, then you do a full press and pull all the way. And then after beating them, you get to challenge Jules. Believe it or not, Jules isn't technically that much harder than any of the rest of them. The only difference is you basically have to be perfect for the entire thing. You cannot mess up or you're going to lose. At all 4 levels, a majority of my failures came from trying to press buttons too quickly in the 0 through 10 stage. One thing worth mentioning here is there's definitely some RNG in play. And what I mean by that is you can either start with L1 or start with R1. I preferred to start with R1 because I'm right-handed. And the first special button I would always prefer to be the fast button press because I did that way better than the green hold. If you get a green hold early, it also takes a while to charge up, so you're kind of losing a sit-up or two if you get that early, but it doesn't really matter later on. I would attempt to win when I started on the left-hand side, but I never did as good. All of my deep runs were starting on the right-hand side. The best way I found to get in a rhythm and move quickly is after you press a button with, say, your right hand, move your right index finger to the next button that it would press, and while you're doing that, you press the button with your left hand because you keep flip-flopping between left and right here. There's no moving your finger and then pressing a button with the same finger while your other hand waits, which is nice. The biggest thing here is to just not give up. And if your hand starts hurting, take a break, do something else, come back later, but don't give up. You're going to get a little better each time, and it may be difficult to see the progress, but trust me, it's there. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm about sick of this minigame. I am out of here. Consider subscribing, and I will see you for the Corel video soon, which that in itself is probably going to get broken down further into more videos. I got a lot of stuff.